Okay, so let's talk. I put some advices together that I have learned in the past days, weeks, and I wanted to share them with you. I think I'm gonna make 2 parts of it, so this is part 1. I'm probably gonna talk about 7 advices, or even just like quotes I heard, or certain things that were said. I'm gonna talk about them, and then I'm gonna make a part 2 where I probably talk about 7 advices too. So yeah, let's start. So my first advice is about certain systems that you kind of like created when you were a child, or even like you don't have to have been a child, but just systems you have created when you were in a situation that may be traumatizing, really hard, and you had to create these systems for you in order to survive them. Can be certain systems like not opening up to people anymore, not trusting people anymore because your trust was maybe taken advantage of, things like that. For me, for example, it's being cold to people, it's shutting my doors very quickly as soon as I don't feel the vibe is good anymore. And the thing I heard in a podcast recently is that you don't need the systems anymore that you created in that situation, because you created them in that situation because you needed them in that moment, and that's great. And you should recognize this, and you should be grateful for this, grateful to yourself that you were able to do this for you. But you have to understand that you don't need these systems anymore, because now you're not in the situation anymore. You may be in other different situations, but you can leave this behind, and you really have to understand it. Okay, so I got interrupted again, but my point here is that you just need to understand that they benefited you at a certain point in your life, but right now, if you are not in that place anymore, obviously, but if some years have passed, you grew up, you have, like, you just got more mature, you just don't need these systems anymore, and you can let them go. They probably hold you back more than they like benefit you. Okay, so point number 2 is a quote that I read recently on Pinterest, and I thought that it was so beautiful. And it says that if you ask for flowers, don't be surprised if it starts to rain. And I just really like that quote, because in general I really like these kind of comparisons between like humans and nature. Another one would be like you trying to imagine yourself being a tree to feel grounded. I really like this comparison too. My point is that you need to understand that if you ask for better things, or if you ask for new things, you are trying to change your environment, maybe you want to get a new job, whatever it is, but you want a change, what's probably going to happen is that everything will break down before this big change. It will be amazing and it will feel great. Why is that? Because the universe wants you to understand that if you want this change and you want the new things, the new relationships, all of that, well, the old ones and the old things need to make some space in order for the new things to arrive to you. And I think what most of us most of the time do is we hold on to all of the things we know because they give us some kind of safety, some, yeah, just make us feel safe because it's known, you know. And as soon as we let them go, it's just the unknown, and the unknown is pretty scary, and people don't like scary things. But this is really crucial for you to understand, just like the fact that it's normal that things won't work out the way that you thought they would before something big is gonna happen to you, because that's just the universe making space for new things. And even if it's not necessarily very easy, try to embrace this change, try to be open for it, to just go with the flow. At the end of the day, everything will be good. It always does. So just trust the process. And yeah, my point number three, my point number 3 is that if you are like if you have to make a big decision, like for me right now, it's what I'm gonna do after getting my degree, like after finishing school. What I've learned recently is that the worst thing that you can do in this situation, when you are just like when you just have to make a big decision and you are just in a place in your life right now that feels very uncertain, you just don't really know where to go, what to do. Like literally, the worst thing that you can do is ask for everybody else's opinions, because obviously we are all individuals. Everybody has different visions for their life, which is amazing. But what will happen is that if you ask everybody in your environment, literally from your grandparents to your friends to your parents to your sisters to your siblings, like everybody has a different vision for their life, and so everybody will give you their different visions for their life, and obviously you will just feel so overstimulated because you get all of this information and you really don't know what to do with it. And most of the time you ask the wrong people, which are the people that didn't take the path that you want to take. And so what's so important here is to really like trying to focus on you, to go into yourself and to really just listening to what you want. And I'm not saying that it's bad to take advices from other people. This can really help you and benefit you, but then you should go to the right people who can kind of like give you more of a natural point of view, not necessarily their own point of view, and kind of like give you advice if you want them. But in general, I really wouldn't suggest you to go to all the people in your environment and ask for their advices or their opinions, because even if like they don't want anything bad for you, like, you know, they actually are just trying to help you, but they don't understand necessarily in that moment that this is not really helping you. It's kind of like the opposite. My fourth advice is a topic that I don't really talk about on here, but I just found that it really helped me, because I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily trying to lose weight or anything, but what I've noticed is that oftentimes after I ate, after certain meals, I was just bloated and I just didn't feel really energized or good afterwards. I tried to get some information on this, and I don't know if you know Liv Schmidt, but some people hate her, some people like her, doesn't matter, but she gave one tip and I listened to it, and I have to say that it helped me personally. And she said just try to eat half of the portions that you would usually eat. If you are someone like me who didn't really pay attention to that, so who liked the big plate that was really aesthetic and everything, that's great. But oftentimes I didn't even pay attention to how much I was eating and how much I was putting on my plate, because it was just like it was normal for me to put that much on my plate, because it's not like I couldn't eat it, it's just that afterwards I just felt almost too full, you know, because I didn't know when to stop. So I always was the kind of person that had to finish their meal. And now I really tried to first of all do like this half portion thing, and I realized that I'm actually full after this. And what I've done is that I always just ate too much for myself. I'm not at all saying that you should like starve yourself. That's not what I am doing. That's not what you should do. And maybe it's not half the portion that you should eat, but just try to focus on when are you actually full, because you should eat as much as you need to, but not more. As soon as you feel like this weight in your belly gets bloated and you just don't really feel good after eating, it already was too much. So what I'm saying is that if you are trying to focus on this, if not, then just skip this part. But if you're trying to focus on this, it's really about knowing how much your body needs in that moment. You just shouldn't overeat. What I wanted to share with you is that I recently made a really big decision I was very afraid of, which was to booking my tickets to go to Thailand to visit a friend. And to some people this might seem like it's a really easy decision, because why shouldn't I do this? It's a great opportunity, which it is. But for me it was just, I was really afraid about this because I never traveled that far. I would travel alone. A lot of things came up into my mind, and I took a long time to take this decision. And I'm gonna talk about decision making on another point. It will probably be the part number 2. But what I want to talk about in this one is that I took a really long time to make this decision, and as soon as I did, I was so relieved. Because first of all, I just finally made the decision. It was like a relief, a weight off of my shoulders. But second of all, I took this decision, and since it's a great opportunity and it's a great place to visit, I'm now just so happy that I made that decision, and I'm so excited for all the things that are coming. And I know that if I wouldn't have booked these tickets, I right now not necessarily would regret it, maybe later, but I would probably tell myself things like, it's okay, I wouldn't have had that great of a time anyways there. Like, I probably would have tried to de-romanticize this idea, which is so sad because I just wouldn't have made this great decision only because I was scared about it. I really felt fear as soon as I just thought about it. But now that I made the decision and I know that it was the right one, I'm just so happy about it. And in my mind, instead of like romanticizing this idea, I'm really romanticizing it. It doesn't mean that just because I took this decision that I'm not afraid of it anymore. I do feel a bit scared about this, but not that much. And I also feel way more excitement, which is great. And I'm just romanticizing this idea of me going on this trip so much that I'm just feel more and more excitement. If you have such a big decision to make, if you just don't want to do it because you feel any type of scarcity about it, any fear, that's actually why you should do it, even just because of that, because then you can just show yourself that it actually is not that bad. You can make some great memories, and it will also help you to come out of your comfort zone more often and do more of these great things. So I have 2 last little points I want to talk about. One thing that's really just a quick little tip is that breath work can help so much with your anxiety. Like, it can reduce your anxiety so quickly. Like, if you just don't know what to do, look for a YouTube video, like 2-3 minutes, and just breathe very deeply, and this will help so much. Because when I started to do this, it just helped me to really come back into the present moment and to realize that I'm just overthinking the situation I'm in right now, and I'm just being a bit dramatic, and all of the anxiety I'm feeling is not really necessary. This is also why mouth taping helps you to reduce anxiety, because during the night you learn to breathe like properly. And obviously one of our biggest fears as human beings is to not being able to breathe anymore, to not have any air. And so this can cause us a lot of anxiety, and as soon as you learn to breathe properly, it will reduce a lot of anxiety. My last advice is this. I read this in my book. I actually have it here. It's Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Joe Dispenza. I don't know if you know him. What I've just read is, I already knew this, but reading it again, it's just like it can feel really powerful and being a good reminder. And so I wanted to share this reminder here with you. And it said that where you direct your attention is where you place your energy. Where you place your energy is like gonna attract the things that you placed your energy in, if that makes sense. What I mean to say is that where you place the energy is equal to the things that you attract. So if you're constantly placing your energy to negative things, to all the things that are not going great in your life right now, well, guess what? You will just continue to attract these things. And I know for sure, and I've experienced this, that it can be quite hard that when you are on a difficult period and it really feels and seems like there's no way out here, like nothing good is happening, it is really hard to stay positive, optimistic, and to see the good in everything. It is a kind of habit that you have to establish, and also it's kind of like it can be a little workout for your mind to just always try to be positive and see the good in everything, even if for a long time now everything seems like it's not working out. It will work out. You just have to believe it, because actually what's your choice? It's either continuing to being so pessimistic and not believing in yourself, or it's being optimistic and believing in yourself. And guess what will bring you more on the long run? Probably this one. So even if it's hard, please just try to stay consistent with it, believe in yourself, and at some point everything will work out. And we'll just be so thankful that you didn't give up on yourself. Okay, so this was my video. I'm gonna see you in my part 2. Yeah, I hope they helped you. I hope you could take anything from it. And yeah, I see you in the next one.